Hi, my name's James Askew, and I'm a conservation biologist with Planetary Health Solutions. We've been working on an elephant biologger project. As an organisation, we've been thinking a lot about how we can improve upon existing biologging solutions that are available to research biologists, park managers, and wildlife vets. As we dug deeper into our research, we found there are other factors in the biologging space which really need innovation. Reducing the invasive nature of the procedure for affixing these devices to animals, regenerative power sources, and other factors. But for this project, we focused on a few key areas that we feel can immediately improve performance for our specific use case with elephants. The distinct advantages for using an IoT systems architecture is that it extends the shelf life of tracking devices, and sensor units are relatively cheap. IoT lets you send small packets of data long distances with very little power. Systems like this have been successfully tested for animal tracking in savanna ecosystems, which are very open, but haven't really been tried in mountainous rainforests. So we're focusing our testing there to understand if it's even viable. We're working with two partners. In the Losa ecosystem of Sumatra, we're working with Forum Konservasi Losa, or FKL, who are trying to prevent human-wildlife conflict. This is where elephants are crop raiding or damaging houses, and then in retaliation, communities will often poison them, leading to the death of the elephant. We're also working in the Samburu region of central Kenya with the Raititi Sanctuary, and they're attempting for the first time to rewild orphan juvenile elephants into non-native herds. And following release, these individuals need to be monitored. However, their ongoing growth means that traditional satellite collars are not really viable, in addition to being very expensive. The IoT technology we're trying to use is low-power wide area networks, or LoRaWAN for short. This is an exciting communication technology because it allows us to send small packets of data for long distances with very little power. LoRaWAN networks are laid out in a star of stars topology, with base stations relaying the data between sensor nodes on the animal and the network server. Communication between the sensor nodes and the base stations goes over the wireless channel utilizing the LoRa physical layer, while the connection between the gateways and the central server are handled over a backbone IP-based network. In Losa, for example, we're trying to cover an area of 600,000 hectares, which is a little bigger than the state of Delaware. But moreover, it's really dense rainforest with a lot of mountainous terrain. Just to make things even more fun, not only are we concerned about line of sight from the sensor node on the animal to the gateway, but there's also the issue of satellite interference from the gateway to the satellite, and which could have implications on the positioning of each gateway. We researched options for a commercially available sensor node and gateway with satellite backhauls to ground truth R propagation computations. We would repackage these off-the-shelf products into a special casing designed to be implanted under the skin or attached to an elephant's tough hide. We have also discussed PCB manufacture with potential engineering collaborators. However, this would require larger scales of manufacture or larger budgets in order to be viable. To test the efficacy of the sensors for elephants, prior to trying implants, we will adhere the sensor to the elephant's skin. Our pilots are with animals that are either rehabilitated working Sumatran elephants that are now being used by conservation units to patrol the forest, or juvenile African elephants that are at a quarantine station under care prior to rewilding. In both cases, there's ample opportunity for observation following the procedure to understand the efficacy of this approach and to make sure it's safe for the elephants. What proved harder was to select a gateway with satellite backhaul. Through our research, we found two options. Both offer an edge server, LoRaWAN gateway, a satellite modem, and an antenna, all wrapped into one low-cost, fully integrated, easy-to-use package. Our next stage is to test the gear in the field. Thanks to Conservation X Labs, we have tickets booked to Sumatra, gear on order, and have a research plan scheduled for work with FKL in the Lokop area of the Losa ecosystem. While the area is huge and extremely rugged, our initial focus will be on the Conservation Research Unit, CRU, in the northeast. The CRU is where rehabilitated working elephants live and is located in the lowlands, providing an easy first opportunity to test the equipment and our calculations in the wild. As we scale out, our plan for Loisa is to focus on the areas around villages, which will reduce the coverage that we need and allow us to specifically tackle the human-wildlife conflict use case. Follow along on Conservation X Lab's digital makerspace to see our progress on the project.